Have you ever been in a situation where your computer has crashed and your OS won't load and recovery mode, being recovery mode, which doesn't do crap, won't work? Have you ever been in a situation where you just don't care about your personal data and you actually have a backup like most other people I've ever dealt with doesn't? A bootable USB. Now, why would you want a bootable USB, you may ask? Well, duh, you actually need it to actually install like an OS on anything, though. So, here's the tutorial that you've been waiting for that I said I would give on making a bootable USB from your crappy USB drive. I'm sorry, your USB drive's probably not crappy, it's probably better than mine. Alright, let's get started. Well, today we'll be covering two different variations of software to create bootable USB drives. One would be single operating system USB drives and multi-boot USB drives. And I'll be showing you how to get both of those on your USB drive right now. Okay, let's do a quick overview. So a single boot USB drive is your traditional USB drive that you may buy like a Windows 10 on with this crappy USB drive it comes with. You just plug it in, you boot to it, there you go, you have Windows. So it's basically the same premise but with freeware though, and it only has one operating system to boot on, and it's reusable to any machine, so you can plug and play whatever you want. Your crappy laptop, your mom's Inspiron, your freaking desktop. I don't care. Well, anyways, that's basically the use of that. Next, we have multi-boot boys, my personal favorite, where we can just have like anything we want. We can have live CDs or anything, and we can have multiple operating systems on them. That's cool beans. We aren't restricted to one, but we have like bajillion. I don't know. It depends on uh, it solely depends on the capacity of your USB drive or the compatible operating systems, really. And, we can go into depth about formats as an NTFS and any Linux, like ext format file system does not work with each other. Now, about PEs, Windows PEs, they are compatible. Some of them. It depends. Anyways, that's the simple overview of those bad boys. Really awesome. So let's get started to the visual representation how to do them. It's pretty simple, actually. Okay, first I'll start off with my go-to software for bootable USBs, which would be the single operating system USB software, which is Rufus. So all you have to do is just look up Rufus online and go to their website. So I always recommend getting the portable version of Rufus because it's just a lot more convenient and you don't have to actually install it anywhere. It works the same as the standalone or stationary version that you can't actually migrate from USB to USB. Which, if you want to have like a workhorse USB, I definitely recommend putting that on a USB. You can allow it to check for updates if you so desire, which is always good. Updates are good. Always update your PC. And voila, here's the interface. Alright, that's just an overview of Rufus. Now we'll get to our multi-boots, which I have two of them to show to you, which the first one is Bootice, which is a very complicated multi-boot software, and I wouldn't recommend using it because it takes a little bit more skill to use, and it may be a little bit harder for anyone who's just starting or who isn't interested in learning more about certain partitioning factors in USBs or so. I find it pretty interesting though. So just download it from majorgeeks.com, which it's a pretty safe download, and just extract it from its zip. And there we go. So it displays the physical disc. It has various other options, which pretty complicated. I don't want to get into detail right now because this is going to be a longer video than I'd imagined. So that's it for Bootice. Next we have YUMI. YUMI is my go-to multi-boot because it comes with its own Grub DOS interface anyways, so you don't have to configure it alongside the other OSs that you install like you would Bootice, which I haven't really tested myself, and I may in the future. But Yumi's just go-to for anyone who's starting and they want to try multi-boot, because who the heck does not like having more than one OS? Like, I primarily use multi-boot CDs for live CDs because I can have more than one. I can have my Hiren's boot CD, and I can have whatever freaking Linux I want at the same time. Couldn't ask for more. Well, that's basically my opinion on that. It's pretty streamlined. It represents your USB that it can actually format. In order to actually use this, though, you can just select whatever ISO, which I'll get into more detail about that. You can just constantly use it over and over again, which I don't think it's actually explained, so I just wanted to make that clear. So there we go. That's the general overview. So let's get into actually using Rufus and using YUMI, though. I'll cover both of those right now. Okay, first you want to select your operating system from your virtual CD or ISO file, which I'm going to select my modified Windows 10 PE 64-bit ISO from the selection. Go to your bootable USB maker software, which I'll be using Rufus this time. You'll be presented with the available USBs you can use to format and put your bootable partition on, which I have my 16GB SanDisk, and you also have to select your ISO file from whatever directory using the select button right there. I'm going to select my Windows 10 PE, and there we go. So it automatically defaults to whatever you actually have selected, though. So this is a 64-bit UEFI Windows 10 install. It's going to go to GPT partitioning and UEFI boot. So in certain circumstances, you wouldn't want to do this. And in the last video, I actually did make a mistake because that actually required it to be GPT, UEFI, and so on and so forth. The file system, FAT32, is good because it's compatible with both, well, just about anything, so it'll actually be read by them. NTFS is Windows exclusive, and the volume label is just going to stay the same as the ISO file. And you can press ready if you want to, but for me, I already have it installed on my USB, so you just have to wait, and there we go. You have your bootable USB. I was going to do YUMI, but it's exactly the same procedure, but this time you just have the ability to do it multiple times over without it overriding or completely reformatting your USB. So that basically sums up the whole tutorial, though. If I missed anything, make sure to comment below and tell me exactly what I need to touch up on, because I want to make sure that this is the most lucid USB tutorial on the planet, because it's a part of my channel and I take somewhat pride in it. And I think I did a pretty decent job in making this entertaining enough and, you know, explanatory enough to where it's not a complete and utter, like, flop. And I felt like I've learned something in the process too, and giving back to you guys always feels good. So thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.